Alright, listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
Hello YouTubers and welcome aboard. I am Noob Flyboy X and welcome back to F1 2018 Career Mode. It's round 17 at the Japanese Grand Prix. And here is the technical regulations change that we knew was coming since Singapore, or that we had rumors that it was coming since Singapore. Basically, it's not as bad as I feared it might be, but still covers two departments of our research. Those being durability and reliability and our chassis. So we're going to have to go through and make sure that we get all of these set so they fit with the regulations next year, which is what we've been saving up our research points to do. We've just about got on top of it, even at the same race it's announced. Now onto a lap of the Japanese Grand Prix circuit at Suzuka, across the line there, coming down the front straightaway and the only DRS zone on the circuit, into the first corner, very fast corner, though you have to keep slowing down as you go through, into the very technical first sector of the track, the S's section, classic F1 racetrack section here. Very tricky to get right, especially in a car with low downforce like this Williams. You've got to, sort of mess around with the setup sometimes and figure out how best to get through here, but also keep in mind you have to be good on the rest of the track as well. Out of the S's there, into the middle sector of the race coming up here. Double right-hander there, underneath the back straightaway, as this is a figure 8 track, as David Crofty will never fail to mention. Into a small hairpin here, coming around this way. There we go, up towards Spoon Curve now with a very long right-hander. It's good to stay on the racing line here. It's kind of bumpy though. Into Spoon Curve, heavy braking, but then you'll want to accelerate a little bit again. Double apex corner there. And now get a good exit as you want to accelerate well onto the back straightaway. Coming through here, not a DRS zone because of the corner coming up. Classic corner of the Japanese Grand Prix circuit, 130R right there. Very high speed corner. Heavy braking in toward the chicane here at the end of the lap. Quick left, or quick right then left. And then a long right-hander back onto the front straightaway and open up the DRS, and there we go. That is a lap of the Japanese Grand Prix circuit here at Suzuka. This is our lap in Q1. That lap will get us through into Q2. Here we are towards the end of Q2 as well. Coming through, we also set the personal best time and the best time overall in Q2. So that easily gets us into the final qualifying session of Q3. We don't do quite as well in Q3, but even starting from the top 10 is excellent. There we are, up to 3rd for the time being, and it'll be 6th.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are Vettel, Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton.
So with that, we've got a good starting position, and it'll get even better, I think, as some other teams will have penalties as we head to the race itself.
We're live today from the Mie Prefecture of Japan as we look forward to the Japanese Grand Prix. The 2015 race here was one of only 5 Grand Prix in history to feature no retirements at all. Although with the highly competitive field we have today, I don't expect we'll be repeating that stat anytime soon. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Iceman, Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen, and Ocon. Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty. Leclerc, Perez, and Roman Grosjean. Ricciardo, Alonso, Kevin Magnussen, and Stroll, Gasly, Sainz, Marcus Ericsson, and Nico Hulkenberg. Hartley and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
You managed to qualify better than we expected yesterday, so let's do the same again today.
So we're looking at a 2-stop strategy today, going from the super softs to the softs. Some of the other teams around me might have been able to qualify on the softs and will be able to do a 1-stop to mediums. So we'll just have to see where that puts us in relation to them. Here we go to the race itself, starting from 3rd position as the Ferraris have some penalties behind Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. There we go, the lights are out after being held for a little while. Bottas has a bit of wheel spin, but he still gets away quite well, as does Max Verstappen. He comes up my inside there, slot in behind him. For only a moment though, we're challenging him up the inside, and eventually he has to concede the position into the first corner there. The two Mercedes though, very good through this first sector, are very quickly away. We'll worry about catching them later. Right now we have to hold Verstappen behind us for this early part of the race. Through the S's here, it's a bit more difficult because that Red Bull has very good aero compared to us. The two Mercedes, as we can see, gapping us very easily, so we're going to have to look behind us. Into this section here, still the Red Bull is very good, but as it straightens out a little bit here, we're looking a little better. Into the hairpin, close back up a little bit, but still nowhere near passing those Mercedes just yet. Verstappen still looking very aggressive behind us as we head towards Spoon, but still doing fairly well here. We've held on to our starting position, so that's very nice. We'll just have to see how long we can hold on to this as the race progresses. Here on lap 1, there's never really a good indication of where you're going to finish, because the shuffling is all still to happen, basically. As we move on to lap 2, though, we are a little messy through the S's, and Verstappen has a bit of a look up our inside. Bump wheels a little bit. He's got a nose ahead there, but on the inside line as we are, we're able to get back ahead of him. Superior power of the Williams will still help us in a few areas here. So we're doing well so far. On lap 3, though, here we are coming down the straightaway as we begin the lap. Behind us, there's a bit of calamity about to unfold. The weekend is about to go from bad to worse for the Ferraris. Here Sebastian Vettel comes into the first corner and has a contact with, I believe, Esteban Ocon in the Force India, and he's spat out on the first corner and has to wait for the entire field to pass him up before he can get back on the circuit and continue racing. That's not so good for him. On lap 5, though, our super softs have already worn out as much as about they can take, so it's time to head in for our first pit stop. Verstappen will continue on, as will the other Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen. Esteban Ocon behind us, having survived the contact, will carry on as well. Here's our first stop onto the soft tires. We'll feed out at pretty much last place in the race. A few laps later, though, Kimi Räikkönen will be out just behind us, as he has had his stop now. On lap 7, coming through 130R, we see one of the Toro Rossos of Pierre Gasly spun out over on the inside. 130R is a very hectic corner to be dealing with, especially if you go in side by side with another car, as the AI sometimes like to do. Any contact they have will usually send them spinning out, in sort of the same way that happened to Vettel on the first corner here. But we managed to close right up to the back of Gasly's teammate Hartley, looking to make a pass on him, hoping to stay close through the S's so we can have a good run through 130R and potentially then get him on the front straightaway. Unfortunately, though, we go a little wide in this corner, and Kimi Räikkönen, opportunistic, has found himself a way through. So he's going to be up in front of us as we head on toward the rest of the lap. Later in that lap, though, again at 130R, there's an incident. One of the McLarens there, Stoffel Van Doorn's, had a massive off, and he's collided with Kimi Räikkönen there. Looks like he's had contact. Hartley's had contact with Van Doorn and sent him spinning off, and Räikkönen's been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Here's the onboard from the Finn's perspective here. Yeah, there's contact between the Toro Rosso and the McLaren. Kimi slows down, tries to get going again, but Van Doorn slides across the track, and Kimi's lost his front wheel. That's him out of this race. A little while later, though, we finally caught up to some other cars. Here we try to go up the inside of our teammate Lance Stroll, but the game's auto brake has us slow down a little bit as we tried to go up the inside of 130R. Still, we're in a decent position. We can go around the outside of our teammate into the chicane and make it stick. So there's a position made back up. We're starting to find our rhythm. Like the Russian Grand Prix previously, it's a bit of a slow start for us, but we start to warm up as the laps go on. Up next is Brendan Hartley. Some others behind us, or in front of us rather, have made pit stops and are now behind us. So we're up to 5th position. We would be able to hold on to this position quite nicely, I think, were it not for the not for us having to make another stop. But we'll hold on to this as long as we can. It's a pretty quiet race, though, up until lap 17 already. We come out of the pit stop just behind Marcus Ericsson and our old rival Kevin Magnussen. Carlos Sainz just behind us, though, looking very racy, looking to try to get up our inside into the S's. We're going to need a good run through here to keep him behind. Once we do that, we'll be able to look forward once again. Little messy but clean enough that we're able to keep that Renault behind us. So there we go, out of the S's. That's that main issue that we're, the main weak point of our track dealt with. Later in that lap, as we come to the end and the beginning of lap 18, we're in Marcus Ericsson's slipstream here. Onto the front straightaway, he's in our sights. He defends the inside. We go around the outside into the first corner, Kimi Räikkönen style. Probably not as smooth, probably didn't look quite as cool. But even so, that's a position made up, and we are now up into 10th. And with the pit stop cycles just about done for all of the teams, this looks like we might just be able to stay in the points from here. Magnussen is our next target. In his slipstream up the back straightaway into 130R. Again, look up the inside, but the game's auto brake has me think better of it. I could have made that corner though, even despite that, without the assisted braking. But we're able to stay close enough to Magnussen despite that to stay in a good position to overtake him on the front straightaway here. We've got DRS, we've got his slipstream. Unlike with Ericsson, we go to the inside of Magnussen. Look behind us there, we've easily got him. Brake a little early just because we're on the inside line there, and we're nicely ahead of him. So this is what the middle section, or the last section rather, of our race is starting to unfold as. We're looking to catch Romain Grosjean ahead of us. Sebastian Vettel has overtaken Kevin Magnussen behind us. He's coming back into play here, but he's only got 6 laps to make up all the positions that he lost with his earlier off. So we're just going to have to see what he's capable of here. The question now becomes, who's going to catch who first? Vettel is very quick, and he's probably going to catch me, seeing as how I'm, despite my best efforts, and after the good qualifying sessions, I'm still slow through some of the early sectors of this lap. Or am I going to catch Romain Grosjean and put him as a barrier between myself and Sebastian Vettel? We'll have to see here. As we head into the hairpin, we're still looking good. It'll be a while before Vettel catches us yet. As it turns out, though, we catch each other at about the same time. Coming into 130R again, let off the power a little bit. I know the inside line is not the way to go on that. I look to the outside of the hairpin, though, smash one of the distance markers. That's going to be a bit of an issue for some of the drivers in the rest of the race, maybe, using that as a braking indicator. Even so, though, we stay in a good position on Grosjean, who defends the inside as Ericsson did, and we easily motor past him. Looking behind us, Vettel is about to follow us through here into the first corner. He's got Grosjean as well. So it looks like now it's just going to be a duel between myself and Vettel towards the end of the race, and we'll just have to see who comes out on top. I'd like to be able to keep 8th position and 4 points, because that will help us with our team goals and get us more research points, just so we can future-proof the last of the upgrades that we haven't yet. On lap 26, though, Vettel looks very aggressive to the outside of the first corner, but he doesn't quite have the grip to keep it. We are able to hold him off. On the same lap, he looks aggressive into the inside of 130R, but this time the game's braking early in that area forces him to back out of it as well. He's still there, though, looking to make another pass, or another attempt at a pass here on the front straightaway. He's still right there in our slipstream. The previous time I tried to avoid the slipstream by going to the inside there, it didn't work too well, so I just stay on the racing line this time. Vettel goes in, a little too much speed there, he can't quite hold it together, and so he's a little off the track. That allows us to squeeze back up the inside, and we're back ahead of him again. Last lap here, he again looks aggressive up the inside of 130R, but we hold him together behind us as we head towards the line. Valtteri Bottas has won the Grand Prix for a good weekend for Mercedes. Decent weekend for us. As we head to the line, we finish 8th.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
Valtteri Bottas will retake the lead of the championship with that one. He's doing quite well now toward the end of the season. He might just be mounting a comeback against Sebastian Vettel, who had been challenging him. But with that awful finish, Vettel is going to have to put in a lot of work to pass him for the lead of the championship again. And by this time, Mercedes is probably untouchable in the constructors. For us, though, a good haul of points in 8th. Doing well for the team, of course. We want to get that car to be better so that we can get more points finishes, especially with double points finishes with our teammate, who still has yet to score a point this season. Either way, it's decent enough, I think. We just about have all of our upgrades researched so that we can keep them for the next season. Once we build up a few more, we might be able to get some of the major upgrades that are next in our tech tree, and we can get some very nice improvements as we head to the very end of the season here, keep them for the beginning of next season as well. That would be the ideal result. But anyway, that's the end of the Japanese Grand Prix for us. Next is my home Grand Prix in the USA. I'll hope to see you then. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.